It had been a sunny day. Katie discovered that riding her tricycle uphill was a lot harder than riding it down. Orbie discovered that if you tie a flag to your bike, it waves when you move. And they both discovered that a piece of cardboard attached to the fender made the most delightful clicking noise. Katie and Orbie had ridden through the whole neighborhood on their trikes. They saw Mrs. Parette sweeping her front step, Tom gardening, and Yi Ping getting awfully wet, helping her father wash the car. Soon they were all helping with the car. Orbie shined the car so well he could see his face in it. Yi Ping's father told them that they had been a big help. He brought each one of them an almond cookie to say thank you. Katie decided that they should search for a place that was really secret to eat the almond cookies. Yi Ping's father said it was fine as long as they stayed on the block. So the three friends set off on their tricycles. Right behind Mrs. Parette's house was a wonderful weeping willow tree. The long branches sort of made a hideout. The three friends parked their bikes and snuck into the special place. When they looked up, there was nothing but weeping willows, and all around them were willow branches, except on one side. Here there was a beautiful bush with red berries on it. At first, Katie, Orbie, and Yi Ping didn't pay any attention to the bush. They made sure that no one could see them, and then they took out their cookies. They were so good. Orbie gobbled his up, Katie ate hers slowly, and Yi Ping crunched and giggled through hers. It was so much fun to be hiding. Even Mrs. Parette didn't know they were there. When they finished their cookies, they pretended that they were lost in a jungle and that they were being chased by a lion. Katie screamed and giggled. Orbie climbed up the tree, and Yi Ping hid behind it. Katie told the pretend lion they were only children, and it should go away, and poof, it was gone. Yi Ping and Orbie said that she was a hero, and they all giggled. Then Yi Ping announced that they would starve if they didn't find food in the jungle. They pretended to look around for food. Orbie picked up a worm and suggested that would do. Katie said she only liked her worms cooked, and Yi Ping told them that they were being gross. Orbie moved over to the bush. That was when he noticed the bright red berries. He said that maybe they were food. Katie reminded Orbie that you absolutely never eat berries unless you know what they are. Orbie looked at her with a funny face and burbled that he was just pretending. That was when Yi Ping looked at them. Yi Ping pulled one off the bush and looked at it carefully. "I think this is a raspberry," she said. She and her mom made raspberry jam. "I'm going to ask my mom." With that, Yi Ping disappeared from the secret place. Orbie noticed that the bush was prickly when he tried to pull another one off. Katie told him that some berries are so poisonous that you can get sick just by touching them, and Orbie dropped the berry and wiped his hands off. Katie thought that maybe they should pretend that a big storm was coming, and if they are not careful, they might get blown away. The pretend wind began to blow. Katie and Orbie held onto branches of the tree. Just as Katie was about to be blown across the yard, Yi Ping popped back in through the branches. It was a raspberry, all right, and it was safe to eat them. This was an excellent turn of events. Now they could live in the jungle and not starve. It was Orbie who took the first raspberry and ate it. To his surprise, it was delicious. He couldn't believe it. Katie wanted to try one. She thought it was good, too. So did Yi Ping. It wasn't long before the three friends were looking all over the bush for raspberries and eating them right up. They had to be careful, of course, because it was prickly. There were a lot of raspberries on the bush, but with three friends picking them all at once, soon there were none. Katie was full of raspberries and turned to Orbie and Yi Ping. Maybe it would be a good idea to pretend that they lived in the sea. They could fill up the wading pool and have fun. Everyone thought this was a great idea, and away they went back to Katie's. A few minutes later, Mrs. Parette came out of her house carrying a bowl. She walked right over to the willow tree and underneath its branches. She looked up and admired the willow. She loved this secret place. Then she looked down at the bush. I guess you know what she had expected to find. A whole lot of raspberries, and when she looked, she couldn't even find one. She couldn't imagine what had happened. Mom invited Mrs. Parette over for lemonade. The friends were playing in the pool. Mrs. Parette sipped her drink. Mom told her that she had a pie in the oven, that she would need to check it. Yi Ping loved pie and asked Mom what kind it was. It was lemon meringue. All the friends threw their hands up in the air. That was their favorite. Mrs. Parette told Mom that she was going to make a pie today, too. But all the raspberries she was going to use had disappeared. Suddenly, all was quiet in the pool. Yi Ping looked at Orbie, Orbie looked at Katie, and Katie looked at both of them. Then all three looked at Mrs. Parette. Yi Ping whispered that they were in big trouble, and Orbie began to shake. Katie pulled her dripping wet self out of the pool and walked over to Mrs. Parette. Mrs. Parette smiled at her, and then she realized that something maybe was wrong. Katie explained that they had eaten all the raspberries. Orbie sniffed because he loved Mrs. Parette and never wanted to make her angry. Katie said they didn't know she was saving them. They didn't mean to do anything wrong. Mrs. Parette looked at Katie for a moment and then took her hand. It takes a brave person to admit when they've made a mistake. I'm proud of all three of you for letting me know it was you who took them. Mom apologized, too. Really, it was only as bad as not having raspberries for a pie. Not very serious. At the same time, the friends had a great idea. Maybe Mom could give her the lemon meringue pie. Mom had a better one. Why didn't Mrs. Parette stay for supper? Mrs. Parette smiled. Mom asked Katie and Orbie to remember that, even though it's fine to play in Mrs. Parette's yard, they must never touch the things that grow there. And do you know, to this very day, they never did again.
Did you know? No. Did you know? Did you know? Fleas are shaped like little rockets, and that makes them marvelous jumpers. If you could jump like a flea, you could leap over a 65-story building.